Politics. How on earth are you going to know how to vote? We're going to tell you. We're going to tell you who to vote for.
This is who you should vote for. You should write in my name.
Nick Lee. He's leaving a wake of positivity in his presidency.
That's right.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not old enough, actually, so don't write me in.
Oh, I am.
Dang it.
All right. Living on the frequency of love. Could we use that in the presidency? Probably.
I think we could.
I think that would be a good thing. Okay. Wanted to make this podcast for those of you that are really struggling with our presidential decisions, with our presidential election coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you find yourself getting angry a lot on either side.
Yeah, no matter who you're supporting.
Doesn't matter. I have clients on both sides. If Kamala wins, then, we're going to be a communistic society and, America is gone as we know it. If Trump wins, it's going to be the end of the world and I'm going to have to leave the country.
I've heard that many times. Also, there's a lot of anger circulating about the lack of options.
That has been a pretty consistent thing for quite some time.
Yes, like why is there only two parties, and if that's fair or not for all the voters.
So let's do a quick little breakdown. Is the world going to end if your candidate doesn't win? Let's do a just information. Donald Trump was president from 2016 to 2020.
I remember that.
Right?
That's true.
All right.
That tracks.
Did the world end?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Next question or next statement. Kamala Harris has been vice president for the last 4 years.
Yes.
For unfortunate guy who probably didn't know that he was president. That was bad.
He's there.
So
He's still
she's been vice president. Did the world end?
No.
So
We're still here.
You're saying, based on the information that we have currently, that either one of these parties can get elected, or people, can get elected, and we're still going to be here?
I think that is what you just said, yes.
It's hard to argue.
That's true.
Look, the news outlets, the media, the things that you're clicking on, it's being served to you.
That's right.
It is not they're not doing it for the good of the people. They're not putting out news for the welfare of Americans.
Media companies probably make the most amount of money
through
election cycles.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they don't care whether or not you agree or not with their article.
They just want you and your eyeballs to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They are not nonprofit organizations. They are for profit. And they are doing things to make their business run successfully. That's what's going on.
That's right.
This is not like I don't think this is controversial. I don't think anybody out there is going to say, no, my media company, Fox News, my media company, MSNBC, they are doing it because they believe in justice for America. No, they believe in the bottom line. They're doing things because it pays them to do it. They're not bleeding heart people. They might be good people. There might be bad people. There's probably both in the organization.
Probably.
But they have a business to run, and this is their business.
Yes, and they follow the money. So if they write headlines that get clicked on more, even though the article isn't really congruent with the headline, it's going to get more views. It's going to get more ads. It's going to impact the bottom line positively for their business.
None of these people are nonprofit. I mean,
there's probably some.
There's some, right? But the big boys in media, they're not. So take that with a grain of salt. All right, next. If you're listening to talk radio, if you're listening to the news, if you're listening to any of these things, hours upon hours per day.
Mm.
That's the information that then you are putting into your mind and then utilizing in your relationships.
Right.
Perhaps instead of putting on blinders of hours and hours of kind of the same thing and the same storylines,
Right.
perhaps instead of doing that, you take off the blinders and listen to the other side with curiosity.
Yes. It's a visual of that is kind of like for physical health. If you only eat one sort of food or nutrient or like bad food, your body's going to be out of balance, and you're going to need the other nutrients to balance it back in, or you're going to be in poor health because you don't have a balanced diet of information.
Balanced diet, I like that. A balanced diet of information. In what world would it make sense to just eat McDonald's cheeseburgers, right? Like,
A guy did a movie once and it wasn't good for him.
get a balanced diet and be curious. So let's take a topic, a topic that has really divided America. Let's talk about abortion as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about this. We have on one side, people believe that you are taking a baby and you are murdering it.
And that's the words they use.
Yeah. And I can see it. I understand. Holy shit. Like, could you imagine like somebody just murdering your newborn? I know it's not
Right.
but let's just take it. If you believe that it's a baby, then you're murdering. Well, of course, those got to be bad people. How can we allow this? I totally understand that.
Right.
Okay, let's be curious on the other side, pro-choice. All right, let's say that you have a 16-year-old girl who had sex with her boyfriend in high school. They didn't think about repercussions. They're young and they're stupid. And she was going to play, she was on track for college sports. She was valedictorian and made this mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have a scholarship. And
they all these things going, and that's your daughter, and she wants to have an abortion because this was a mistake. Oh man, I get that. Or what if you got pregnant and you're a woman and you got pregnant and there's a history of complications in your family and you didn't mean to get pregnant.
Right. Or there's a large likelihood of your own body failing and not being able to support
that's right.
child.
Well, then you have to risk that. And what if you took precautions and it happened? Let's not even take the rape or something of that nature, which is that's
another aspect.
Another aspect of it. But I get it. What the baby cannot survive. Now I think super late term, which from what I understand doesn't really even happen anymore unless the mom may die.
Right.
That's pretty extreme. And I think most people would be like, yeah, you carried this for, okay, what are you doing, right? But an abortion after a month or whatever it happens to be, that's what we're going to take the middle, like, okay, well, can you understand it a little bit? Could you understand if your daughter made a mistake and this is going to impact her whole life? Could you understand that you have to carry this, but you may die doing it? But somebody's got to tell you that you have to? Can you understand that? Well, I can.
Yeah.
I can. I get that. I get that 100%. So you have these two things. They are very emotional, very strong, and I can see both sides being really dug in. But when you're really curious, I get both sides.
Yeah, and we didn't even add in the fact that, the religious aspect of it.
Sure.
Where you believe that if that were to happen to you or other people happening to other people, that they're just going to go to hell.
Sure. And if that's, I always think that like, okay, well then that's on them, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that, if you believe that, but anyway, I digress. The point is that when we hear these things over and over, the same narrative, oh, Trump's going to do this, Kamala's going to do this, we're not being curious. We're just getting our anger and our emotion prodded, and then you're taking that anger and emotion out on your loved ones, people that are driving on the street.
It's permeating through your body.
Yeah, it is the opposite of a Nick and his kindness. What'd you say? Like
A wake of positivity.
a wake of positivity. It's the opposite of that. All because you keep hearing the same thing over and over and over.
And it keeps triggering you into becoming this type of person.
That's right. You're addicted. Okay. So these are some things to think about. Ask yourself, am I getting, what was the balanced diet?
A balanced diet of
Of
information.
information? Am I open? Am I curious to learning why? Do you really think that half the country is just baby killer sadistic sinners?
And that's what they believe in.
Yeah, like they get off like, oh, I'm gonna kill a baby. Like, I don't believe that to be the case. I meet a lot of people in any given day, and they seem pretty fucking nice for the most part.
Yes.
So just
because they identify with a political party, all of a sudden you believe these things about people
yeah,
that can trigger you without even talking to them.
yeah, it's wild. And then, okay, so as far as the anger is concerned, I try to be curious. Try not to listen to the same thing, and try to be cognizant. You don't want to eat McDonald's or drink liters of soda. Like, could you imagine just drinking liters? That's basically what it is. Just liters of soda as your only calories.
There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah. If you think that's wise, okay. Hey, we're not here to tell you different,
Right?
but at least think about it.
Is that the life you want to live?
Is it the life that you want to live? Then, additionally, as we talked about, like both of these, you could talk about not wanting the candidates, and I'm with you. But these are the candidates that are there.
Right. And
Yeah.
even if there was just two men, a lot of these things would still happen regardless of who was the candidate. We see this constantly over election cycles, the Republicans versus the Democrats,
Yeah.
the Democrats versus the Republicans, them showing up to each other's rallies and protesting. There's always this dissonance between the parties.
Yes. And, you choose whether you want to be angry. You choose how you let it affect your life. You choose all these things. It's not happening to you.
Right. Yeah, and think about all the people. I mean, we've seen it where people lose relationships, people lose family members just over their beliefs, where they feel like it's not okay to believe something else, because if you don't believe this way, then you are the opposite of it.
Right? Right. It seems not healthy.
No, it doesn't seem helpful for anybody.
No. Okay. So at the beginning, I said, we're going to tell you who to vote for. So who do you vote for? In my opinion, you pick some things that are important to you. I guarantee you, I've not met anybody that's like, any candidate is exactly what they want.
Right.
Right? So you need to pick certain things that are important to you. Maybe narrow it down a little bit. Maybe abortion is absolutely number one, right? Or maybe the state of the government spending, or taxes, or the military industrial complex, or whatever,
Or
right?
education, or
right.
transportation.
Yeah,
all the things.
All of the things. Maybe those are what are important to you, but pick those and then be curious.
Yeah, and one thing I really like to do during election cycles, no matter who I feel like I may lean towards as a candidate, I always try to do a couple political quizzes. And the nice thing about the quizzes are they show you can pick, like, on certain issues how important. There's like a slider, right? And then at the end of the quiz, it shows you like where your choices aligned to the different candidates. and also it shows you facts about what they've said or what they've done in the past that support the topic that is important to you, which is a good way to get some balanced information. And you can look at all the candidates, at all the information that you want to.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to just fact check random stuff and then pick a different narrative. So, okay, this got me. Dang it. Like, okay, well, if that got me, let's see if I can find information to the opposite. Almost always I can, which is fucking insane. And then it's like, well, what is truth?
Right.
But
you can justify any narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. And look into it, right? Like really just see what is happening, because it doesn't matter what side you're on. They're making up different headlines. They're making up different things. And we've all been guilty of looking at a headline and being like, oh,
yes, and not reading it or checking any sources.
Donald Trump killed all the penguins in Antarctica.
People in whatever state that was are eating their pets because
that's awesome.
Because they have no resources.
Eat the pets. I mean, if you're hungry.
Oh, I think it was like homeless people.
Yeah, it was
eating other people's pets or something like that.
It was people coming from Mexico and then just going directly to a state and eating their pets.
Supposedly.
Some things you don't need to look into.
Yeah, I would agree.
Whether that's true or not, I guarantee you there's some people that have eaten their pets.
Yeah, but the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, that is true. So, it doesn't, it matters that you believe in democracy, and it matters that you be curious and try to put as much information as you can, or I'm sorry, as much energy as you want into seeing a point of view, seeing the opposite point of view, and then just, okay, well, how do I feel about that? And like really sit with it and, use your mind and use your feelings to understand it a little bit better.
And use some empathy to understand the entire topic.
Yes.
Because nothing is ever black and white. As much as we like to think things are, there's nothing black and white in this world, really.
No.
Black is white and white is black if you look at the light spectrum in general.
What?
Anyways.
All right. All right. So we're not going to tell you who to vote for. Either way, we love you. We love you, fellow Americans. I can speak for Nick on that, I think.
I think so, yes.
We're going to be okay. We're going to get through it. And
we've survived everything up until this point, and most likely we're going to survive into tomorrow.
Yeah. And we're going to be grateful for every moment that we have. So vote gratitude 2024.
That's who we'll write into the ballot.
Gratitude's old enough.
I like it.
All right, guys. Go out and vote.